Libra, this is your August 2023 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is your reading for the month ahead. It's Romy. I appreciate you tuning into the channel. If it resonates with you, please do ensure that you drop me a like and a comment, and ensure you're subscribed. So we're going to open up this month with the energy of the Four of Wands. You know, everything in August is revealing how much your relationship with what is outside of you affects your self-esteem. And I think you're going to be sitting in big questions and also be brave enough to hear at times what may feel like some uncomfortable answers. The important thing to remember is that August is a time where we almost want you to put everything in the pending file. Don't make any firm and final decisions, or even if you come to a conclusion within yourself, just have a little time to sit with the energy and really make peace with it before you announce or share it with the world. We have a sense of balance coming through for you, and I think that's absolutely vital for you to be able to think clearly and really kind of gather up the evidence and allow new information to come to light. August is a magical month. You know, we are bookended with two powerful full supermoons. The first brings in a full moon in Aquarius, and with this we're going to intuitively find a way to really quieten some of the mental chatter and continue on this quest for heart healing. And as we make our way towards the 30th, which will then bring about the second full moon in Pisces, we have an opportunity to go into something at a deeper level and to sort of face more of the emotional aspects of where we've been invited or directed to surrender or to let go. The challenges that we come up against in August is that these full moons are almost creating like a veil, even a feeling at times of being in some sense of a void. And, you know, that can be a really powerful, energetic time where a lot is happening behind the scenes within the subconscious, and all of the retrograde energies, remember, directing this journey inwards. At the same time, though, it can also create confusion and uncertainty. And, you know, we have to remember, especially in Venus retrograde, we also have a Mercury retrograde coming in later this month on the 23rd, that often when we try to make choices and decisions during these times, they will reflect past versions of ourselves. And so this is why it's so important to kind of just sit with those choices until you reach a point where you're absolutely certain that this is the right way forward for you. Now, the Three of Cups along with the Four of Wands also indicates that there's something really beautiful that you're celebrating through the month of August. And sometimes that's something that, you know, we are acknowledging within ourselves. What I really like for you this month, Libra, is that Leo energy illuminates your 11th house, which connects directly to our hopes and dreams. This is a month where the magic of Lionsgate Portal coming in on the 8th, combined with the ways in which some of these cosmic conversations are playing out, are really helping to remind you, what do I want? What do I need? What do I love? And, you know, you are going to sit in the energy of that and really give yourself the opportunity to begin manifesting in a more powerful way than perhaps you ever have before. Because the thing about this month is that the growth, the self-awareness is so profound. Like, you will come out of this season absolutely a changed person, and certainly looking at those closest to you in the connections that are in your pathways in a very different light as well. So as we approach Lionsgate on the 8th, where we see the spiritual sun Sirius rising, it's an opportunity to kind of really embrace the evolving growth that has been taking place in your own soul journey. I have created a soul meditation which you might want to check out to support you with this. You'll find the link in the comment and description box underneath, Libra. But what we are also seeing for you in regards to this is that you're almost picking up old conversations, picking up where you left off in regards to something, and then being able to make it better and project it forward with such intention. You know, this is a time to return to all of the tools and techniques, and especially to work with anything that deals on a subconscious level, you know, hypnotherapy, NLP, EFT. These are all going to be incredibly effective in and around this energy. But it's going to help to harmonize you with a future timeline and destiny that you're truly ready to embrace. And this is an exciting time. But as we said, if you're aware that August is a time where everything is kind of in the pending file, be okay with sort of seeing the big end picture, the big vision, if you like, and not necessarily having all the answers for the strategy of how on earth you're going to get there or how on earth it will come together. Because if you get too fixated on that too early, you almost self-sabotage or, you know, start to restrict your energy because you just believe it's not possible. Now, the Queen of Pentacles comes in and says there will be a time through the course of this month, likely as we approach closer into Virgo energy, where you're going to be able to feel more inspired and motivated to do what's necessary to start moving things forward in your world. I think where we're looking at relationships this month, which is going to be, of course, having a big focus because of the Venus retrograde, what you're going to find is that distraction may well help you to process or be necessary to kind of take the time that you need to consider what you're coming up against, what you're going through, and what's being asked of you. You know, you have to remember that this is a time where, you know, as much as we may feel triggered by other people's energies and what they're bringing to the table, the more we can direct that back to the self and say, how is this affecting me? What am I projecting because of it? This is where the real work gets done. And as we come into mid-month, the asteroid goddess Juno shifts into Leo. Now remember, she works with partnerships on a professional and a personal romantic level. And in Leo, you know, our hearts are on the line, so there can be those, you know, beautiful expressions of energy, but we also have to figure out what's real and what's just being done for show. And so that discernment is really important this month. Another reason to not really come to any firm conclusions or to make judgments too early in the process. Now, the new moon coming in on the 16th of the month, I think is quite an exciting time for you. I actually feel, you know, you're having to go back to make sense of how you move forward, but there's something deeply valuable, and perhaps even, you know, on a more practical level, we might have stored files or something from a tech perspective that we stumble across, or we remember that we have that still holds something, and, you know, maybe there's a opportunity to make it better or to use it again or something along these lines with the retrograde energy. But you also have the capacity for people to show back up in your world that are meant to be here to facilitate this kind of next period of growth. Remember, Venus retrograde brings back very personal, intimate connections. Mercury retrograde can bring back all sorts of random people that we may have had, you know, fleeting connections with in the past, not necessarily, you know, in a much sort of closer, intimate capacity. But, you know, these two combined, you know, are certainly inviting you to consider the value of what somebody coming back and what they have to say or what they have to remind you of, either in yourself or, you know, with something more tangible that can be helpful. So that new moon in Leo, I think, is going to be a really exciting time to start believing in the possibility that something can work. And even if you feel like all of the evidence is stacked against you, there's just something deeper in your knowing. Yeah, your high priestess is just kind of guiding you. That higher self is saying, you know, I'm not going to let you give up. You know, this is destined for you. This is meant for you. And whatever way that's emerging in whatever area of your life it feels really prominent, it's very important that you rest deeply in your worthiness this month. Yeah, let everything alchemize and transition and transform around you as you look at that big vision and sit in a place of profound trust, because as we can do that, we're able to balance out our own individual energy field, which means as we harmonize with these bigger conversations taking place planetarily and, you know, with the people that are going through their own changes, we're much more poised and ready to kind of receive what's meant for us rather than fighting against what is. And I think it's a month, you know, we're also reminded that we've got the whole host of energies in Leo, right? We'll have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Juno, but also we have a continuing transit with Black Moon Lilith right through till October 3rd. And she really wants us to deal with the shadow, what has been avoided. But it's also where you have felt yourself dismissed, or you have dismissed yourself. Perhaps your talents have been overlooked, you know, or you've tried to keep yourself small. And there's a karma that wants to play out here and rebalance something in your world. So you'll also feel a sense of urgency to face and acknowledge, so that you can then set yourself up in preparation for going back and trying again, or revisiting something, or just changing your mindset or your attitude to one that believes in your ability to actually make this a reality for yourself. Sun shifts into Virgo on the 23rd, same day that Mercury will go retrograde in Virgo. So of course, sometimes the conversations that we're having can be misconstrued a little bit. Again, all the more reason to sort of have lots of space, if you like, around those conversations, not trying to, you know, do too much or have it too intense. But we also have Mars coming into your sign on the 27th, Libra. So that'll be super supportive as you decide how you want to take action, and also how you want to revisit some of the things that you feel most passionate about. Anything legal or coming in that's remotely connected to sort of having to resolve or fix something, I think you're going to start to see the direction that it can take, but I think you've got a little while longer before you really start to feel a little bit more certain and confident about how it can play out for you. In fact, there might be a few more twists and turns that you have to navigate through the next few weeks as we deal with some of the, you know, more unexpected encounters, particularly as we have Uranus going retrograde on the 28th. Remember, the days around these planetary shifts can cause like a little bit of imbalance in our equilibrium. But justice tells me, along with your high priestess, you know, beautiful major arcana energies showing up in this month for you, that where you do trust in the process, but more importantly, you trust in yourself, and also that you don't try to be the one that jumps in and, you know, makes good on the karma that you think is deserving in any situation, you know. So where you see someone, you know, who is acting or behaving or expressing themselves in a way that is not of good, you know, it's almost just like take a step back and focus on the self. Like, you don't have time or energy to get embroiled or inveigled or try to keep showing someone the way who is not prepared to listen or open up. I think there is some delicate family matters that also seem to be coming to the forefront. And remember, in, you know, Virgo energy, 12th house, there's a lot of surrender and letting go and having to kind of make peace with certain situations, which doesn't necessarily mean that you have to agree with everything, but there's a healing component here that has to be hugely addressed. And part of that is also a theme for you, Libra, around the degree to which you're seeking external validation from people or scenarios. Remember what I said, this month is truly revealing how much your relationship with everything outside of you affects your self-esteem. So really keep that in mind. But making our way towards the full moon in Pisces, there's a very emotional expression from somebody coming your way. And I think, you know, not before time. You've definitely been sitting, waiting for this. Will it give you everything you need? Not yet. But I think there's probably enough there that you feel, okay, there's something to work with, or I feel like, okay, I'll remain in a place where I'll keep the lines of communication open, or I'll keep my seat at the table, so to speak. You know, this can also be a time where, you know, there's a real harvest sort of energy that can be delivered, you know, with a Venus retrograde. We talked about some of the more tricky aspects of it. Ultimately, it's here to transform things. But if you have invested significantly you know, from a work or purpose perspective, this can also be a time when things come good and you actually get, you know, a return on your investment, so to speak. So it's not always about things leaving or crumbling or becoming undone. It's also a time when the kind of, you know, the waves will sort of bring back up on the shoreline some real rich treasures and jewels for you to kind of discover. So I think there's some pleasant surprises coming your way through the course of this month that again will bring about cause for celebration, and perhaps where you felt like you didn't have the resources, the funds, the time to be able to do something, you might have a little bit of a surprise in actually realizing that something comes together that's going to enable you to do that. So try not to fix plans so determinedly that you don't have any of that nice kind of white space to be able to make some last minute decisions. At the same time, you know, the course corrects and blindsides that can come in, the surprising sort of situations that we weren't anticipating, are also here to challenge you somewhat, but only from a perspective of, you know, how rooted can you remain in what the big vision looks like for you without losing heart at the way that you're being kind of guided to get there. You know, it's all really about our expectations, isn't it? And if we could release them and just know that the outcome was inevitable, but how we fill in, you know, the kind of getting from here to there, you know, is not just down to us. It's also about working with what those bigger spiritual lessons and how the universe wants to guide us. Then we would find that that process is much easier because we'd stop fighting it and we'd stop fighting ourselves. So if you're new to the channel, Libra, we cover the last 3 cards in my extended version. We'll talk for like 25-30 minutes or so. We'll go into this in more detail with clarifying cards, as well as look at a personal question and a relationship card for you. So if you're resonating, please do find the link below and do join me for that. I'm going to go ahead and just clarify this main reading and see what else wants to deliver by way of insights for us. 4 of Wands is bringing through Ace of Swords. All the decks that I use are listed below, by the way. And remember, you know, we now have the North Node in Aries, which is really pushing you, Libra, on, you know, themes of self-focus, self-resiliency, becoming a self-starter. You know, there's this sort of feeling of like no one's coming to save you, but it can be so deeply gratifying to find ways in which to save oneself. And this really supports the release of those, you know, codependent situations. You know, and certainly you're working with that South Node energy coming through, you know, the second half of this year. So that's going to be hitting, you know, profoundly through for you. So a couple of 3s coming up there. 3 of Swords. What else do we have there? Another 4 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles. We still have this continuation of a heart healing season, you know. It's not easy work, it's messy work, but ultimately the growth is what supports us in being able to receive what's coming for us. 10 of Swords and Strength. You know, sometimes these endings can feel incredibly painful. Also a bit dramatic. I feel like somebody's a bit dramatic around you and how they're sort of playing things out. Don't mirror that, you know. Try to stay calm if that's a situation that you come up against, because I feel like they're trying to get a rise or a reaction from you. You know, it's almost like I'm saying one thing, but it's not really what I mean. I just want to test you. It's like someone's trying to test you. Not helpful, but I think you can use discernment and, like I said, have this pending file. Unfortunately, you know, what many of us are going through is sort of seeing sides of individuals, but also of ourselves, you know. None of us are immune to kind of recognizing these behaviors and sort of sometimes the, you know, the worst parts sort of being revealed or brought into the light because it's meant to be healed and transmuted. But it can sometimes be a bit of a shock to kind of see people in such a different light. So there's that sort of vibe that kind of moves through August. And because we're in this void, we've got this veil, nothing is necessarily making full sense yet, but it will. And of course, the profound directive to release and surrender, you know, is really being asked of you this month. So this is Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is my own personal deck. If you're new to the channel, you can find that over on my website and check it out. Please do if you enjoy my work, along with my book, Moon Musings. So we have Earth, Medicine and Magic cast their spells. It's certainly a time when Venus is shifting backwards where we can feel a bit hypnotized, a bit spellbound. And then this month, you know, with this sort of veil of the moon, you know, mirrors of the mind, it's not a surprise. We're sort of having to go exercise some of those ghosts and really kind of question and look at some of the thought forms that are dictating our experience right now. Like I said, you're never going to have such a profound month of self-awareness. Waterfalls of white light, beautiful. Alchemize the ache. A lot of lovely healing energy coming through for you here. Spirit horse, sovereign power. There's that north node kicking in for you. Queen of water, healing elixir. Spirit lion, spiritual strength. Love that showing up for you, of course, Leo. Collective heart, beautiful. Okay, let's go ahead and pull an oracle card for you. This is Rebecca Campbell's deck. She who flows, ease, being open to change, go with the flow of life. Okay, Libra, we are going to leave it there. If you're joining me for the extended, we'll go into these messages in more detail, look at your personal question and your relationship card. Be sure to check out my Lionsgate portal meditation. I've also got a brand new full moon energy activation for this month. You can also get details about my monthly membership where you can get all of the extended readings and my services and products. So thanks for being here. I appreciate you so much. If this has resonated, please do drop me a like or comment, and I will see you again next time. Take good care.